Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside, and welcome to Cultivate 2026. Jerry and I come to Cultivate here in Columbus, Ohio every July. This is a huge horticultural trade show where you have anything related with horticulture is here. And so we are here at the booth of our friends of Plant Development Services. This is going to be the home of your butterfly candy, your encore azaleas, your better boxwoods, your Southern Living plant collection. Everything that you could ever imagine is going to be here. And y'all, there are some gorgeous plants because it is July and I am already dreaming about cooler temperatures and adding these fantastic plants to our landscape. So come on, we're going to go in here and just have some fun looking at gorgeous plants. Now, I am a Southern girl and I do love my azaleas and my camellias. So when Jerry and I went down to Alabama in November of last year, the folks at Encore, they introduced the two new colors. So it was Autumn Kiss and Autumn Velvet. So the Kiss has this beautiful bicolor with that pink and the white and that 3 to 4 tall and wide, and then Velvet. Now I'm going to tell you, some of these plants, when you're indoors, they don't always cooperate. Everything was in full bloom and then they come inside for a little bit and they kind of freak out. But Velvet is going to be truly that deep red color, a 4x4, more upright and just covered in flowers when it is in bloom. And of course your encores bloom 3 times a year, right? Spring, summer, and fall. That's why they are called autumn whatever, to remind you that they bloom in the fall. But this one, if we did not fly to Columbus and we were in a car, then I would be taking this camellia home with me. I wouldn't even ask. I would just come and just kind of put it on my hip and walk out the door. This is Early Surprise. Now, Early Surprise lives up to its name because it really starts to bloom, even in Alabama, around July. You can see that they are absolutely covered in flowers and buds right now. If you're familiar with Early Wonder, then this would be kind of the sister to Early Wonder. Obviously, Early Surprise is going to be that nice, deep, beautiful red, hardy in zones 7 to 9, basically a 5x6 tall, 3 to 4 wide. So it has a very upright habit. I mean, it is gorgeous, absolutely stunning. I want one of these in my landscape ASAP. And then of course the butterfly candies. This is where we discovered butterfly candy last year, was at the show. You've got all the colors, and then there's actually 2 new colors. They don't have the magenta. I think it got destroyed in a rainstorm. But they have Little Cerise. So Little Cerise is going to be one of those new colors, and it's going to be between taffy and raspberry. So it's going to be a deeper, richer, pinky purple than Little Taffy. Still going to be in that basically 2 to 3 tall and wide. So those of you that follow us know that we planted, like I said, we discovered butterfly candy here at the show last year, planted them in our landscape late summer, early fall. We had kind of an exceptionally cold winter, so ours basically died completely to the ground, sheared them off, and y'all, they came back bigger and beautiful. Like my little raspberries are up to my hip and absolutely covered in flowers. They all did great. So love these nice petite ones. This is Early Wonder. So the Early Wonder camellia, so you can kind of see the difference between the Early Surprise and the Early Wonder. The Early Wonder is going to be a really like rich pink, where the Surprise is a red. So you've got just that fun kind of color variation in that. And it'll take the sun. That's what we love about the Southern Living camellias, that they can take the sun. Have a fun display of the white wedding paniculata hydrangeas here, the better boxwoods. Let's talk about some fun new introductions coming down the line. So they have a new Leucothe. So this is Some Like It Hot. Now, this is going to be another example of it's been in the greenhouse and not outside with a full UV light. But Some Like It Hot are going to give you that gorgeous, rich copper color basically a 2 to 3 tall and wide, and it absolutely can do full sun. So even in Alabama, in those hotter areas, you can put this in the full sun. It is evergreen, and then it tends to be that deer resistant. And then some new loropetalums. So you've got, they don't have the signs on them, but you've got the purple raindrops is going to be a little bit, so you got purple pixie, which has been in here, right? So it's low and wide, very weeping habit. You can see that. Gorgeous. We love loropetalums in the South because they're evergreen. And then purple raindrops is going to have a little bit of a smaller leaf to it. Still has a weeping habit, but not nearly as much as your purple pixie. And great in the landscape. So know that there's going to be some new loropetalums coming down the line as well. And then you know how much we love Touch of Gold holly, right? So this is a holly. We have it in our landscape in multiple areas. In the full sun, you get this bright chartreuse color. Love this. And basically it's gonna be 2 feet tall, 4 feet wide, right? So this is great. Well, now we have Mini Touch. And so Mini Touch is going to be, again, a nice soft touch holly, a 2x2 evergreen. It's easy to keep it nice and short and compact. So this would be great for an evergreen hedge, like at the front of your border. You could put it in a container. You could do all sorts of things. So lots of options for that full sun. This one is, it's rated as for full sun. Evergreen, low maintenance, low growing, because so many people are asking for those kind of characteristics. And then, okay, Carex. You know how much I absolutely adore Carex. I am a huge fan of Feather Falls. Well, this is Lunar Falls. Look at this. Again, if I could stick it in my pocket and take it home, I would. This is absolutely gorgeous. Much more variegated with the white than Feather Falls. You just have that little strip of green going down the center. We love Carex again because it is going to be an evergreen. Gonna want to put it more in that morning sun, filtered shade area, not gonna be really for the full sun. But Lunar Falls is coming down the line, absolutely gorgeous. Some new Nandinas. So you've got ones that have already been in the line, the Blush Pink, the Obsession, Lemon Lime, and then right now they're calling this Red Light. And this is one that's going to change colors. So it will have kind of that chameleon effect, basically a 2x2 full sun to part shade. Of course, we love those because they are evergreen. And then a new hydrangea. So this is Blast from the Pastel. This is going to be a gorgeous, it's kind of a cross between like a Serrata and a Mac. You get these beautiful, nice, big, basically it's white and it will take on like either blush pink or a little bit of blue. So it has that kind of that lace cap look to it, but they do have that little bit of pink in it. It's going to kind of be dependent on your pH, whether you get those little blush pinks or you're going to get the blues. Does not get all of the little spots. Everybody talks about my macrophyllus in the late summer get all the little black dots on it. This is resistant to that, has not shown up even in Alabama. So this will be a 4x4. It is a continuous bloomer, so old growth, new growth. It just keeps pushing out that growth. I was talking to Becky. She lives in Nashville. She has one in a pot for 2 years, and even though they got down to -10 this past winter, it came back stronger than ever, hardy in zones 5 to 9. So really excited about this. Part sun to part shade. Of course, if you're in zone 5, you can do a little bit more sun. Zones 9, 8, you're gonna be wanting a little bit more shade. So we've got that. And then a new Mahonia. So this is called Silver Caress. And Silver Caress out in out in the wild in its natural habitat, it's going to take on this silver hue to it. Of course, you want Mahonia to go more in that shade, a 3.5x3. And so far in all of their trials, it has come to be deer resistant. So my friends who have shade and you want that kind of that silvery blue, this would be a great option for you. And then last but not least, so excited because y'all look, the first pink agapanthus. This is poppin' pink. Jerry and I were walking through the lobby yesterday and they have a display of their agapanthus, and I saw this and I was like, oh my goodness, it is gorgeous. So a pink agapanthus, the more sun, the pinker it's going to be, the more shade it's going to take on a little bit more lavender hues to it. But a 16 tall, 18 wide, zones 8 to 11. So there are so many cool plants. Like, we are just getting started. So we're going to go around to all sorts of different booths and hang out and look at new plants, because not only are we excited about the new plants from Southern Living Plant Collection and Encore and the Sunset and Butterfly Candy and all of that, we're also on the hunt for some new additions to, of course, Creekside Champions. We're going to swing by the Proven Winners booth. We're going to swing by all the booths and see what we can find while we are here at Cultivate. It's going to be a fun time. All right, my friends, it is the next day. We got into the exhibit hall a little early today. Going to walk you through the fantastic shrubs, perennials, annuals of Proven Winners. And then, y'all, yesterday we found some gorgeous plants from other breeders, and so I cannot wait to share them with you. There's already a couple that I'm like, those are going into the Creekside Champions line for sure. So stay tuned for that. But without a doubt, Proven Winners has one of the biggest plant displays here at Cultivate. And so we're going to start with kind of the shrubs. So, of course, they're here to educate and really promote, of course, their beautiful shrubs to all the different garden centers, the growers, people who are coming. So what they did this year with the booth is to do it by solutions or groups. So, for example, this is the new varieties. So you've got all the new varieties here. The new Buddleia. This is the Black Darkest Night. So you have got that. I mean, huge, massive. It's the deepest purple Buddleia out there. Then we've got Featherman. Look at this, Vitex. So this is a chase tree. Really, really tight, compact growth on that. Then you've got Sugar Shack 2.0. I cannot wait to get my hands on one of these and add it to the garden. We love the button bush because it's a native shrub, gives those cool blooms, but what Sugar Shack 2.0 does is it's more compact. I have Sugar Shack and the forest pansy bed, and it is really happy there. It loves those damp conditions, but it's almost a little too happy and has gotten huge. So I'm kind of fighting the size on that. But the 2.0 is going to be a 3x4, tall and wide. Native, damp areas, right? It is a great option for you, and it's hardy in zones 4 to 10. I mean, hello, we all can grow that basically, right? So you've got, that looks like Incredible Stormproof right here. You've got the Pugster Pico Punch, that nice tight one, the Jade Turtle. I mean, all the new introductions, right? We're not gonna go through them all because we would be here all day. And then roses. Proven Winners has put a lot of effort in the past couple of years really introducing some very cool roses like the Reminiscent Yellow. Then they have got the Flavorette series, which are going to be those roses that are actually edible. This is the cool one down here on the bottom. This is the Oh So Easy Red Stripe. So it has that variegation in there, and the white and the red. And y'all, I will just say, this is not a Proven Winners thing, but all the plants in here are struggling because they are not in any kind of natural light whatsoever. So don't take offense to plants that are maybe looking not at their peak performance. Yeah, because, oh man, it is a struggle. So the Rise Up series, of course, and then the hydrangeas. I mean, hello. Proven Winners is known for their gorgeous hydrangeas. They've got the Sky Views in here. Quickfire Fab, of course, is that white panicle. Up there at the top, we've got Pufferfish. Looks like Incredible Blush. Let's Dance Sky View, of course, is the big one right here. We love this. It was really kind of introduced and pushed last year from our sweet friend Megan Matai. This is one of her plants. So all the hydrangeas, and then deer proof. So let's talk about deer proof, because if there's ever any category that folks need help in, without a doubt, it is going to be deer proof. So Proven Winner Color Choice Shrubs came up with a deer-proof line, I don't know, a couple of years ago. So you will see the branded pots that has that deer-proof in here. So these are those plants that have historically been found that deer will leave alone. So whether it is the boxwoods, the abelias, of course, you've got barberries are in there. You have got the happy face orange. This is the potentilla. We don't grow this one, so this is one I'm not familiar with. Any of the boxwoods, whether it's new gen, look at this, y'all. This Trailblazer Silver, this is the one that we had some issues with, wasn't it, as far as availability? So this was a new introduction this year, but it's Trailblazer Silver, and it's a Texas sage. And the folks at Proven Winner Color Choice Shrubs, they had a little bit of a production issue with this. Let's just be honest. We had some customers that were super excited about it and then got disappointed because they couldn't get it. But hopefully with this year, coming year, we will be able to offer this at Creekside Nursery. And so there you go. You've also got the coral berries. So you've got the Proud Berry Pearl. This will be a white berry. So that is part of the deer proof line as well. So all of those coral berries will be in there. You've got your Caryopteris in here. And then, like I said, your abelias. So if you have deer, that's going to be a problem. Then those are going to be ones that you're going to look at your local garden center for that deer proof line. All right. You want to move on to annuals? Yeah. So over here, they've got a lovely booth with all of the proven winners. So whether it is the Leaf Joy, of course, the houseplant line, I mean, there are some gorgeous ones in here. So you can look at your local garden center. I know you can order some of these like online, but beautiful options for you in here. And then they have a display with their new varieties. Love these guys. We are growing these, of course. Everybody's moving out of the way. Suddenly they want to be camera shy. I don't care that they're in there, but they like, see, there we go. See, and our beloved Paul, y'all know Paul, Paul's moving on to better things than Creekside, but that's all right. We're not bitter about it. Nope, not at all. And so new varieties. So they've got them in here. Growing these, of course, at Creekside. Y'all, a couple of the ones that I'm like super impressed with is the Color Blaze Pepper Flakes. I was calling this freckles. It's not freckles, it's pepper flakes. This is, I just like to make names up, y'all, if you haven't figured that out. So have this at the entrance to the garden center along the creek. Really impressed with this because the irrigation, you know, our woes with that. Gorgeous, nice, tight, compact. Love this one. And then the Super Bells, the Double Midnight Magenta, have this in the deck boxes. Gorgeous colors on this. Absolutely stunning, nice, bright colors. And then, y'all, this may sound crazy, but I love, this is the new sweet potato vine, the Ipomea. I think it's an improved one. Yeah, the Bewitched After Midnight 2. We have this in the water trough at the garden center. And when I tell you that it looks just as perfect with these leaves at the garden center, it does. And it is huge and massive. Really love this one. But it's really fun to come, and they'll do, of course, the combos, the recipes for you. So like this is plum perfection. You got the plum dandy, you have got saffron finch, you have got Bordeaux 2, all of those in here. So it's really nice to come here and see how they have things displayed. Yeah, so you've heard me say that if you stand beside the upside sweet potato vines for any length of time, they're gonna climb you. So this is that upside key lime. It will literally climb anything. It is fantastic. So you've got the key lime, and then you also have the black coffee, which is the black one. I don't know if they have it here. And then the Medusa black. Such a fun, all sweet potato vines, right? Very cool. Shadow Storm is new out in the garden center this year. Really cool, variegated. You will get tons of different leaf patterns and color patterns on that. So we've got that. The grasses, of course, love the grasses, all the things. And then supertunias. Supertunias, like the number one thing within the annual line, all the different ones, just giving people variety and seeing what they have as far as the different growers, the different garden centers, to see what is available. That is the Bordeaux 2, so the new and improved one. We saw that here last year. And then, of course, in my opinion, the best yellow supertunia on the market. I love saffron finch, because even in the southeast with our heat and humidity, you get a true yellow flower. I love saffron finch. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous plant for sure. And then moving around this way, let's see what else we can get into. Okay, so they've got their plants of the year. So proven winners every year, they have the plants of the year, the combo of the year. They have all of the things in here. So they have the criteria up here. So how do they, determine what is the plant of the year? It has to be easy to grow. It has to be recognizable. It has to be readily available. And obviously it has to have that proven performance where it, it grows well in the gardens. So here we have some of the past ones. You had lemon coral, mini vista pink star, jazzberry. Yeah, look at this gumfrena though. Is that not a beautiful display of our Trufula pink? Lovely. Absolutely gorgeous. Then, interesting side note, they're going to be expanding, bringing back the Proven Harvest line. So this was a program that they had, kind of went away a little bit, but they're bringing it back bigger and better than ever. So you will be able to get these plants as a basically like a grande size container. So this is Pesto Besto, so that will be a basil that is in there. Of course, you've got a mazel basil will be part of the line. They've got tomatoes that will do great in hanging baskets, because they know that a lot of folks have very limited space. So you've got tomatoes, you've got peppers, you've got cabbage and kale, and I mean, you name it, it is in here. Just gorgeous plants. So this is going to be something that's going to be coming down the line in the future. And then let's see what else. And then they do have things. So if you're a garden center and you're coming here, they have like your hard goods, so that you can get an understanding of the whole line of Proven Winners. So whether it's the fertilizers or the soil or the aquapots, the aquapot inserts, you name it. So they display all of those things here as well. So you can come as a garden center, a grower, kind of get a feel for the plants that are going to be coming out on the market. What are the best sellers? What are some of the solutions based on these plants that your customers are going to love? And then, of course, for us, we just love seeing all of the big, beautiful color here at the Proven Winner booth. But they also have, while we're over here, let's just jaunt over here, or we can go this way. So what they do is in this kind of back corner of the convention center, they have all of the new varieties, and these are going to be from all sorts of the different greenhouses, breeders, growers, you name it. And so you can see where they'll have like Walter's Gardens, of course, is right here, so you can see it on the sign who the plant is. The Just Peachy, remember we planted these at the house? By the way, they're doing amazing, but look at this. So they have that Just Peachy right here, and so that's really cool to see that. Then the Tall Tales, this is that Nepeta that we have in the garden, cottage garden rather, so we've got that. All sorts of fun things. We also have, we haven't talked about this one, but we've got the Buzz Stop. This is an ironweed. I have these at the house. I have not found the right spot for them, but this is going to be a massive pollinator attractor. It is hardy in zones 4 to 9, I think that says. And so my eyes are going, y'all, I can't see. And so this is going to be a really, really cool one. Great for your pollinators. They've got, look at this. We have got these forged in fire. This is going to be your Heliopsis. They are blooming their heads off at the at our place. Again, looking for a spot to add them in, but look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And of course, this is a massive container. So this is going to give you those continuous blooms with that Heliopsis. Basically, it can be like a 3x3, gorgeous plant, hardy in zones 3 to 9. But man, gorgeous colors. So you have got all of this, and then let's go ahead and head up to Walter's Gardens. All right, so we are in the Walter's Gardens booth. Of course, Walter's Gardens is the breeder, plant developer, grower of all of the Proven Winners perennials. And then they have their own perennial line as well. So what we have here, y'all, look at this. Is that not gorgeous? That is that Forged in Fire that we were looking at just a minute ago here in Mass. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's see. So yeah, we said that's 3x3 zones 3 to 9. Great mildew resistance, pollinator friendly, and it is a native to North America. I mean, can you imagine if you put, and when I say mass planting, that could be 2 plants planted really close together, or it could be 20 plants, planted close together. The alliums, of course, this is all the buzz. Look at that. Oh my gosh. And I love that the purple and the orange together. Of course, massive pollinator attractor, deer resistant, rabbit resistant. And then all the buzz has those a little bit smaller but very prolific blooms. And then look at the leaves, right? Nice and skinny and narrow, so a completely different texture than some of the other alliums. And this is when I say, if something performs well in your garden, go ahead and get multiple varieties of that. You know that I battle rabbits in my garden big time in the backyard. And so with the alliums being rabbit resistant, I want as many different cultivars and varieties of alliums that I can have, because the rabbits will not eat them all the way down to the ground. So you've got that. We just planted Whipped Cream, the new fruit punch dianthus. Look at this. So this is what we're going to get next spring. So of course mine were small, but look at that beautiful pure white double flower, gorgeous evergreen foliage. We love that dianthus, nice and tight, compact, beautiful. Let's see. Over here, let's go over here. Of course, the Treasure Trove, Rudbeckia, beautiful, prolific, smaller blooms, but very, very prolific on that. Then here we have the Just Peachy over again. So these are going to be ones that are from the Walters line. You've got that beautiful echinacea, and then see another allium, right? But this is a pure white allium. This is needlepoint. So you've got that. And then look at this Carex. So this is a new introduction. This is Shade Fanfare. It doesn't bloom purple, y'all. It's just getting some of the salvia blooms. Great, beautiful Carex for your shade garden. A little bit more on the moist side. Gorgeous color to it. So I have some of these that are growing. I got 5 of them in those quart-sized containers. I was talking to the folks here at Walters, kind of knowing exactly how to plant this, but absolutely gorgeous. This is going to be hardy in zones 3 to 8, 12 inches tall, 2 feet wide, nice big wide green leaves, tidy clumping habit, and native roots in North America. The salvia, this is that dark sky salvia, part of that really nice big, that Living Large series. Beautiful, nice, deep purple blooms on it. This is a fast grower. So when we offer this next year, know that you're going to get rapid growth, nice big presence in the garden, beautiful, pollinator friendly. And then y'all, look at this. See, yet another allium. I'm telling you, this is the bobblehead. So you could have 20 different alliums in your garden and get 20 different looks, 20 different bloom times. That's why we love that. Yeah, I mean, there's just tons. And then there's going to be new grasses coming out also. We have got, like, there's blue steel, there's different ones. We've got several of these varieties at the house that we are growing. They came a little bit later on in the season for us. So know that I will be adding these different, we'll be talking about them more, right? So there's a bunch of different perennial grasses coming out that we will be talking about in the near future. So there you go, all the gorgeous plants from Walter's Gardens. Lots of fun things coming down the line. There's always new plants and there's always gorgeous things to offer. All right, let's go look at some other ones. All right, my friends, as most of you know, we are in the process of building a new building at the nursery for the new potting machine. And so we are here at Adept Ag booth. They have a very extensive booth here at Cultivate because this is who we are getting our machine from. So let me just walk through and show you some of the automation that they have. So basically, Adept Ag they do all sorts of things. So from potting machines, like what we're going to get on a massive scale. They also do irrigation systems. They do, of course, all of the software programs. And they do massive installs for that automation process. Like right here, they have an example of the smart boom. So this would be a way for any kind of treatment of the plants, whether it would be fertilizer or it's going to be some sort of like pest control, you name it. Everything now, of course, is going to be computer driven. So lots of software, extremely smart. So they just have little demonstrations up here for all of some of their different things. So yeah, computer screens galore, but a really impressive display here with examples of all the things that they offer. So we are going to show this entire process at Creekside. So we were meeting with our friends here and talking about the whole process. So right now, as it all stands, we're looking at the end of the month for the machine and all the things to be delivered at Creekside. So around July 31st is the tentative date for things to be delivered. So delivered, and then they'll have a technician come out, have everything connected, make sure it runs well. So we are super excited about this new machine and appreciate all of the help that they have given us thus far. All right, now on to some new things. You may remember that we got some annual plant trials from various breeders, and one that I was immediately interested in and then have absolutely loved it is this eye candy begonia from Syngenta. And so they have a whole line of these things. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a dangerous plant for me and for you. So the eye candy begonias are these absolutely gorgeous begonias. They're going to be a little bit more for the shade. So this is the eye candy coral pink. And you can see that they have those beautiful double flowers, even in the convention center, my friends. They look gorgeous, but beautiful foliage on it as well. Then there is eye candy sunset, which is a beautiful yellow with some pinks and some oranges in it. They're just gorgeous. The one that I have is the new, and it's like the XL yellow. They don't have it here, but when I tell you that it is in like some tough growing conditions, it is. It's up at the chicken coop. It is in a 1 gallon container. It has been huge and growing, but you can see with these begonias, you can absolutely put them in hanging baskets. They give that kind of upright yet spilling effect to them. Great for those shadier, filtered sun kind of growing conditions, especially where we are in the southeast. So I was very excited. This is vanilla cream, and so it's got a very kind of a soft, I would dare say it's a soft yellow. At least that's what I'm seeing here. So really fun. So expect to see more of the eye candy begonias from Creekside Champions. So here we are at the Cicada booth, and Cicada is the home to a lot of fantastic annuals that we love. A lot of great plants here. The famous sun patience. I love coming to this display because you can see all of the colors that are in the line. It is just a bright, sunny, very, very happy space. So they have the Sun Patience Vigorous, which we've not done the Vigorous. We always do the compact, but look at this color. This is the pretty pink. Isn't that a lovely pink for us pink lovers? And then of course coming in to the compact, which obviously is going to be a little bit more shorter, a little bit more compact, sturdy. This is kind of where we tend to go with ours that we carry. And then what's really cool is, I'm not going to interrupt, but they have the petites. So Sun Patience Petite that they have there, both in little hanging baskets and then in containers as well. So I am very intrigued by those. And then they are also the home of the Viking begonias. Of course, this year we had in the Creekside Champions line the Viking XL red on chocolate. So you can see that that is here. Once they're in the full sun, they take on that deeper, near black foliage like ours do. You're going to get a little color variation when they're grown in greenhouses with the UV protectant, but there is a Viking white on green. Of course, these are going to get nice and big. Ours, I think they say they can get like up to 3 feet. So they're going to be bigger and more vigorous than like your surefire begonias. So they have a kind of a similar look to them, but the Viking, obviously, as with its name suggests, is going to be a little bit bigger. You can use them in containers, you can use them in the landscape, however you want to do that, and you can do the sun or the shade with these guys. They're gorgeous. And then I want to come over here and hang on, let me get in a good spot. I want to show you some impatiens that are, oh, they're beautiful. Oh, here we go. We can go right here. Let's come over this way. I'm really trying to stay out of people's way. The Super Cow is, look at this, y'all. This kind of stopped me in my tracks. This is absolutely gorgeous. So this is the Pink Star, and then kind of opened up a little bit. Let's go over here to the wall where they have all of these gorgeousness, and they kind of separated them into different kind of seasons of colors. But this is the Super Cow Premium Coral Star. Is that not unbelievable? We've never grown these, so I don't know, their habit or what they've done to them. I would love to get my hands on some of these and try them out. And then this is the Pink Star that we were just looking at. I think is absolutely gorgeous with those colors. Very, very intrigued with these guys. So need to do a little bit more research on these and see if this would be a good fit for us. I think that is going to kind of wrap it up for us today. It is kind of late in the afternoon on our last day here. We have had some fantastic conversations with people all across the industry. It's great to reconnect. It's what's so much fun about coming here. Columbus is also, my gosh, they have got some great restaurants here, my friends. So if you're ever in the area, come stop by and come and have a bite to eat somewhere on High Street. It's fantastic. But we have seen a lot of friends, a lot of information, a lot of gorgeous new plants. So we are now going to go home and do some research and start thinking about our upcoming programs for Creekside, whether it is with the branded pots or something that we come up with Creekside Champions. We just want to bring you the absolute best plants, best products that are out there and make them available for you. So if you are a grower, retailer, any kind of business in horticulture and you're not coming to Cultivate, I would encourage you to do it because there are tons and tons of booths here. Not really necessary for the home gardener. This is more geared to people in the industry. You could come if you wanted to, just to kind of see some things, but it really is geared to those folks, those businesses within the horticultural world. This is why we bring the videos to you so that you can kind of get a glimpse inside and see what is going on here. As always, we hope you have found it fun, informative, and inspirational. Y'all have an amazing day. We will see you next time, my friends.